All right, welcome back to the SSL Family Dad channel. We are here in the greenhouse. It is a beautiful sunny day and we're ready to get some seeds started in here. I'm a little later than last year with starting seeds, but I already have a whole lot growing in here. So I only have a couple bits of space that I want to plant out today and then maybe some other seedling trays. And I also want to show you guys a couple tips and tricks for planting out seeds in raised beds, and also a new tool that I thought that I invented, but I guess I didn't. So I'll show you guys what that's all about here in just a few minutes. But I'm gonna take you guys into to the two places that we're gonna plant out and just talk to you a little bit about how I've prepared the area and what I've done over the last week or two, and then how we're gonna get it ready to put some seeds in it today. All right, so we have the log cabin or raised bed here, built with the logs, the pine logs from the forest. And we've got it filled up with mostly compost. There's a little bit of peat moss in here from when I planted out last year, but this is mostly pure compost. And you can see in here, if you've been following along, a couple weeks ago I went through and I weeded all this out, cleaned all the beds out, and I put all those weeds back down in here and I let them die off. So they've been in here for about a week or two now, and most of them have died off except for a few of this, I think it's chickweed or whatever this stuff is that's hanging on. This has kept a nice layer of organic material on the top of the soil, so it's kept the moisture in. I've been watering this quite a bit over the last couple days. And so this has prepared the soil. The soil is nice and soft. There's a whole lot of worms and other things that'll start coming up to the surface, especially at night. Right now it's a little bit hot because it's sunny, but the worms will come up underneath here and they'll start eating away at all that organic material, all this stuff as it breaks down. But obviously it'd be kind of hard to plant through that. So I'm going to show you what I do to prepare this so that we have a nice smooth surface to plant on. All right, so we're going to bring out the controversy. So I've got some Canadian sphagnum peat moss here, and I'm just dumping this right on top of all the weeds and everything that I pulled out and left in the bed here from last week. And this is where every time I use any peat moss, there's always some people who make some comments about it. And so I always say pretty much the same thing. I really like using peat moss. There's some controversy about its impacts on the environment, and that's a personal decision. If you'd like to purchase the cocoa core, which is the alternative that's more sustainably raised or harvested, and cocoa core is a very similar product. So, but I really like using peat moss, and so that's what we're using here today. And basically what I'm doing is I'm just spreading out about an 1 to 2 inch layer on top of everything. So we've got a little too thin here. So we'll push that down and make sure that's covered up real good. And all this is doing is giving us a nice place to plant our seeds in. So we don't want it too thick. We're going to wet this all down here in just a minute. But peat moss is great because it holds moisture. So it'll hold moisture around your seeds. You still need to water things every day and keep things wet, but it does help to hold moisture. It also helps to drain, so it kind of does both. And it also keeps air around the roots, and peat moss is great to add to pure compost soil. It does raise the acidity a little bit, which is totally fine. I've tested my soil here, and I am about a 7 for most areas, if not even a 7.5. And so I could use a little bit of acidity in the soil anyway, and so I'm fine with that. And so we'll go ahead and add a little bit more over there. We'll create a nice flat area and a nice loose soil that we can plant in, and then we'll spray this down, get it all wet, and we'll be ready to go. So about 4 or 5 years ago, I made this square foot gardening template. I was really researching and getting into square foot gardening and raised bed gardening and all the advantages of that. And I decided to design a template out of some scrap wood and some things I had laying around that would help me to get just the right seed spacing in all of the square foot gardening method that we did. And so I designed this template. It basically has different colored holes depending on what type of vegetable that you're planting and what type of spacing that you need. You could put the seeds in, like for instance, red is for carrots, and there's 16 per square foot in this grid. And this allows you to get just the perfect spacing for carrots, so you put them in just the red holes. I had a little push stick that I had made, the dowel is broken off of now, that you use to get just the right depth of hole, and then you'd push the seeds in however you wanted to do it. And this one was designed just perfectly to fit in my pallet raised beds that we built for free. This opened up so that the support's in the corner, so it would fit in there perfectly. Well, just a few months ago, I was contacted by a company called Seeding Square, and they said, hey, we saw your template in one of your videos, and we actually make one of these. And it's almost identical to mine. It's just made out of plastic, and it's designed a little bit better, actually. And so they sent a couple to me to test out and to show you guys. And you'll find out how you can get one, possibly even for free at the end of the video if you stick around. So this is the Seeding Square. It's a perfect 12-inch by 12-inch square. It comes with almost the same color system that mine had. The red here is 16 per square foot, and then you've got the yellow, which are 9 per square foot. You've got the one right in the center. The blue ones are 4 per square foot, and so it's all color coded. It comes with instructions that are easy to follow. Each different color has a list of the different types of vegetables that you would plant per square and how many you put in there. It also has this cool little push stick that you use to push into the holes and to get the right seed depth. So depending on how deep to plant the seeds, you know, for carrots and real shallow stuff, you just go up to the 1. You just stick that right through the hole when you have it sitting in your dirt, and just go down to the 1. If something deeper like pumpkins or something else, you could go down to the 2 or the 3. And so this gives you the seed depth. It also has a little scoop on it for seeds. The neat thing about this, it also has a little funnel, and the funnel just clips right in each one of the holes as you go around, and you can use it to put the seeds in, so you're not sprinkling them all over the place like I used to do with mine. So pretty handy little thing. You know, I thought I had the idea. I thought you know, maybe I could produce these one day. I could manufacture these. Well, somebody beat me to it, and they already got it all figured out. So no need for me to do that work now. They've got it covered, and they're available on Amazon, which is pretty cool. So let's get in and get some of the seeds planted. I'll talk to you a little bit about some of the advantages of square foot gardening and how to get the most out of your garden space. All right, so let's get our seeds out here and our seed planting template. We'll get this laid down. And so I'm just going to kind of wiggle it into the soil and just make a square mark. I'm going to be planting some carrots on my first row here. And so how we do this is it comes with a guide, and it tells you exactly what goes in which colored holes. And so we look at the red square here, and we see carrots. That's 16 per square. And so we're going to move this out of the way. And we know that carrots are a pretty shallow plant. We don't need to plant the seeds too deep. So I'm going to start with some rainbow carrots first. And of course, MI Gardener Seeds, check the link in the description. You get 10 cents off. These are only 99 cents a piece anyway, but you get them for 89 cents if you use the affiliate link in the description. So we're going to use the little seed marker here. It does have a little scoop on one end. You can scoop seeds out. However, I find it easier just to sprinkle them with the ends of my fingers. So we'll kind of discard. We won't use that. But we're going to use the planting depth here. So if I put this into the 1, right flush with the hole here, it only goes in the soil about 1/4 of an inch. And so we're just going to make little divots in the soil. So we've got that nice soft fluffy peat moss there that'll hold the... So we're going to go make a bunch of little divots with our marker here first. So we'll just move along here, and I'm just trying to drop maybe 2 seeds in each hole. And so one of the advantages of square foot gardening versus traditional gardening. Now traditionally with carrots we would kind of make a row, right? We'd hill it up a little bit or trench it, however you prefer to do that. And then you'd take and sprinkle a whole bunch of seed all along that row. You'd just sprinkle all along. And then you'd wait till those all sprouted up and they were big enough to see, you know, where the carrots were at. And then you'd thin them out basically to this spacing. And so all you've done is just wasted a whole bunch of seed in between where you're going to thin them out to. And the idea here is that you're just going to put them at the exact spacing they should be at, 1 or 2 per hole. And then you can thin still. If you get 2 that sprout in each hole, then you're going to need to cut 1 down. You don't want 2 growing in the same spot. But I'm using way less seed than I would normally. And that's especially important if you're saving your own seeds. Alright, so the first square is planted. So now I'm just going to pick this up, and you'll see I've got a perfect square mark there. So now I'm just going to take it to the next. I'm going to line it right up with that, work it in a little bit, and do the same thing. Alright, so cabbage. Cabbage would be 1 per square. So that's in the middle. So let's do some cabbage right along here. And there should be about enough space right there. So one of the other advantages of using the square foot gardening method is that you can get a much higher density of planting than you normally would with less weeds. And so when you plant things nice and close, when you follow the template here and you plant things in this square type method in a raised bed, you actually end up getting more, and you don't have quite as much aisle space. This is a 4-foot raised bed, and so I'm able to get at it from both sides. Here I'm reaching because I'm trying to talk to the camera, but normally I can get at it from both sides pretty easily. Let's get in here. So let's see. For celery, it looks like we can do 9. So they go in the yellow spots. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 per square. I don't know if I have enough seed. Head lettuce would be 4 per square, so that's using the blue spots. So there's lots of advantages to planting your garden in a square foot design. Now, whether you're using a raised bed or not, you can plant your traditional gardens, your flat, open soil gardens with a square foot method also. There's lots of advantages to raised beds. I've done a whole video on that. I'll link to that up in the card system there. If you click on the eye in the upper right hand corner of your screen, you can get links to those videos. But square foot gardening allows you to control weeds a lot better, control pests a lot better, use a lot less water. Everything is very, very condensed. There's less rows and paths for you to have to walk in, and more vegetables crammed into every square foot versus traditional open gardens. And so that's why we use this method. And with the seed planting square, it gives you the perfect spacing for every kind of vegetable. You can also use this to poke holes in the soil like that, and then draw trenches between them if you want to do a trench. Or there's lots of other things that you can use this for as a template to keep things organized in your garden. And man, will you thank me for when you use this and you grow vegetables this way, because it's so much easier to just manage the garden. I'm telling you, you'll save yourself a lot of time. So the seeding square, a lot of people over the years have asked me, will you make me one? Because I've had the homemade one that I made. And well, now I don't have to make you one because you can go buy your own off Amazon. These are available on Amazon. And since you stuck around to the end of the video, I will also put a giveaway for you to win your very own. I'm going to give at least one of these away, maybe two, to some of you guys. And so if you're interested in trying to win yourself one, click on the link in the description. I'll put a link to an entry there, and you can enter the competition, and we'll say let it run for maybe a week or two, and whoever enters in that time, we'll do a drawing, and I'll notify you through that system. So if you want to get a seeding square, of course, you can just buy one. I'll link in the description for that. And if you'd like to enter to try to win one in the next 2 weeks from the release of this video, go ahead and enter the link to enter to win. So thank you to the folks over at the Seeding Square Company for letting me use this and have this one to keep. It's pretty cool. I definitely will use it. I've used my homemade one, and now I have one that's plastic and I can wash off, and it's got a tool that's not broken like mine was. So much nicer little system. Temperatures are warming up, beautiful sun, and finally things are starting to grow in here. My pepper plants are coming back to life, and I'm starting seeds and getting ready to garden. I'll be tilling up some new ground here soon and planting some mini production gardens and fruit trees and all kinds of stuff. So I'm geeked about that. Hopefully you guys will subscribe if it's your first time here and follow along for all that fun DIY projects and farming and raising animals and gardening and all those kinds of things. Of course, don't forget to hit thumbs up on today's video and leave your questions and comments down below. What do you think? What do you think of the seeding square? What do you think of the square foot gardening method? What do you think of raised beds versus traditional gardening? What's your preference? Love to hear from you guys. So as always, guys, thanks for watching. Have a good one.